I don't know, but I realized something the other day. By the
What's
other
that?
day, I mean like yesterday, maybe even the day before. I don't know, but um, I think I'm tired of intervening. I think I've acknowledged. I think at this point in my life that like people are adults and and they make their own decisions and uh, people are rarely capable of changing. As fucked up as that sounds, um, it's the truth. And to be clear, I'm not saying, I'm not gonna listen to flop or try to, push him in the right direction. But like, I think, I think that's what I've just grown tired of. I think it's why I want nothing to do with high command or command and PD. I, people should know better, and I know that sounds fucked up, but I think I've just done it for too long. Again, not necessarily related to flop. Partially in that, like, when I was told he was leaving PD, who am I to tell him he shouldn't, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would definitely like to be there. Um,
Okay. Well, come on down then. I'm at the the benches in Mirror Park.
yes.
Okay. Yeah, come on down. I'm down in there. I'm just gonna
All right.
tell him to come down here.
All right.
All
I'll
right.
see you in a moment.
Bye.
Bye. Hey,
Please,
flop.
son.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Eh,
We're all right. How are you?
Uh, Truthfully, better knowing that I see you on a hospital bed. You feeling okay?
Yeah. Not too bad. Yeah. Got
Anything I'm sorry, go ahead.
you've got some blood on your arm. What happened?
Do I?
You just fall over or something?
I was parking a car and I was running. Did get clipped by a local.
Okay.
I don't know if it was that.
you all right though?
Yeah, yeah, I'm all right. What's going on?
Um. Well, I mean, you got anything to tell us?
Uh, yeah. I mean, yeah. And I don't know if you got my text. Um, I didn't text you, Ed. I didn't know you were out of the ICU until very late. But you guys okay if I have a cigarette?
I mean, they'll kill you, but I mean, you're your own man. You make your own choices.
Hmm.
Even if they're the wrong ones.
Flop, I don't. How do I say this? Um, the other day you tried calling me multiple times, and for context, Maple had given me your number, and this was a while back. Um, I guess when you had gotten a new number and told me, don't put him under flop. Um, put him under something else. I was like, you know what? Great, that's easy. I'll put him under Sunny, Sun with the U, and
Huh.
um, and then uh, Sonny, you know, the guy that wears the pumpkin mask?
Moonstar?
Moonstar? Yeah.
Oh god.
He started showing up, and I started seeing his name on Twitter. And when I was in a pursuit and I got a call from Sonny,
You ignored
um,
it.
well, it was like, it's just Sonny. It's not urgent, you know? Like, he's gonna
Sure.
ask me if there's a warrant out for his arrest. And then then
Uh,
it dawned on me that it was you, and I called you back, strangely, because you know how infrequent that is.
mhm.
And, I think that by that point you'd gone to sleep. But I want you to know I did not intentionally ignore you. I just, in my autopilot mode, just I saw Sunny because I saw Sunny's name on Twitter shortly before. For I wouldn't even know how he would have gotten my number, but long story short, that's what
It
happened
wasn't in
there.
the moment. I get that. I mean, to be honest with you, I was calling you kind of about what I'm sure people have informed both of you about. I wanted to kind of talk to both of you face to face before I did it, but I all regard to that. That's fine. I'm not upset about that. Uh, Yesterday was my last day at the PD. I didn't quit. I didn't walk out with a middle finger. I simply wanted to retire. And when I look at the people we have that come through the PD, it would be wrong not to make a very gross, sad assumption that the two ways people go out is with a middle finger or with a bullet. And I didn't want either of those to be me, but I had my reasons, and they were not with the intention of having anything negative, I guess. Um, there were things with the PD in itself that I respectfully don't agree with. Uh,
Like it being a meat grinder.
it is it is a meat grinder. It really is. Where we are right now should have been happening 6 months ago, but I digress. Um, I'm gonna be honest. When you were in the ICU, Dad, I took another day off for work. I had just come off of my stuff with Hydra,
Mhm.
and I, the day I planned to go back was the day I heard you had your incident. Um, and I visited you, and I said I can't do this. I'm not ready, and I gave it a full day before I said, you know what, I want to go back. Within 2 hours of being on duty, I dealt with 3 homicides, and by the third one, I had to walk by your room uh, many times. And I walked into the corner where the cafeteria is, not in the cafeteria, but in the cubby. And for the first time in my professional career, I sat on the ground in the middle of the hospital and proceeded to bawl my eyes out. And that scared me. And I wiped my tears away and finished what I had to do. And I said, I can't do this. I need to go. And this was a bad day to come. This was a bad day to work. And while I was driving back to the PD, I received a call from Dr. Bordier. who told me that Tessa was in the ICU and that I was one of her emergency contacts. Between myself, you, 3 homicides, and Tessa, realized that I did not feel like I was capable of doing my job for the first time. And I put my gear up and I visited Tessa. And I want to say it was either that day or the day after. I spoke with Sky and I told her that I had a lot of worry for my family and the way that I conducted myself in uniform and didn't want my name to be remembered in the PD as, you know, the senior who failed to do his job or the senior who struggled to pull over a member of Hydra or insert whatever. And I went into the PD with a smile on my face and I wanted to retire with a smile on my face. And to be honest, I wanted to take that time to look after you. And I mean, I respectfully, I I didn't even realize you got a job with the marshals, but I'm happy for you. And I guess I didn't realize you were going to be so quick to get back to work. But your choices wouldn't have changed my outcome. I still wanted to do this for myself. And if there's a time down the road where the PD ever changed, who knows where I'd be. But truthfully, right now, I don't see my heart with the PD anymore. And I don't hold grudges on anybody. So I'm sorry it took this long to tell you guys because I know that was a big choice, but I haven't seen you.
This is the thing, like, your reasons for, well, you know, I wouldn't want to speak for Matt, but I don't care that you want to leave the PD. You know, your choices are your own to make. I just, you know, I heard it from bloody Peters, for God's sake.
Tyler Peters?
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Jesus.
Um,
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
it's not, again, it's like we had that conversation before I went into hospital. If you don't feel like PD's the right fit, or you're not fit to do your job, or any reason, like, it doesn't matter. You've put in a lot of hard work and dedication, and you've done this shit a service that not a lot of people can match, and you know, you've earned your right to retire, so you don't have to explain anything. Yeah.
I you don't owe us an explanation. At the end of the day, although at some point all three of us were police officers working alongside each other, things have changed. The environment's changed. The general landscape of the PD. I'm gonna be real, and I was having this conversation yesterday, the day before. I feel like I'm having this conversation just about every day.
Uh,
Um, there isn't much keeping people here in the police department.
Agree.
In saying that, I understand why people would want to leave. And again, I don't fault you in the slightest. You're an adult. You make your own decisions for the same reason that I can walk away from a situation when I know my mental can't take it, right? Like nobody should be upset if I have to walk away from something because I know if I continue, I'm going to go down a path that I should not be going down. If you find that what you're doing is too much, if you find that whatever it is you're doing, your heart's not in anymore, you have to do what's best for you there. And nobody should tell you otherwise.
Hmm.
Can I, sorry. Uh, can I ask what you told the PD your reason was for leaving?
When I spoke with Sky, I explained to her how I broke down, and I explained to her how I feel like I failed to do my job, and I believe it was something along the lines of when I heard that you had hypoxia, and I was
Mhm.
told that there was a chance you may not remember anybody. I uh, had a very traumatic response because I also had a time where I forgot the people I loved, and I will never have those memories. And I said that if it was my dying wish, I don't want the PD to be my scapegoat, put the time into the people I care about. And as long as I have keys to that building, I will find the excuse to step away. But the reality is that uh, not having the excuse to walk through those doors gave me a sense of comfort, considering everything else that happened, and gave me the time to know that you were okay.
How?
How what?
How did it give you the time to know that I was okay?
I couldn't focus on work. And with some of my feelings to the PD, the meat grinder, it did not help my comfort or feeling wondering how you were going to be. I literally walked by your ICU room, sat in the corner of a hospital, and cried. The job didn't help me.
Probably safe to say when you're doing this job, you don't have much time for much of anything. And I say that as somebody who almost feels guilty sitting here, knowing that there's 3 other units out there.
I'd rather just a- ask you directly, son, because I don't know whether I'd rather hear it from the horse's mouth. Somebody text me uh, saying that when you announced your retirement, you said that you had been spending time off duty with me.
Huh?
Is that
Excuse me?
is that
No,
true?
no, 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 no. Who texted you that? Because that is wildly fucking false.
So it's
Is
not
someone
true?
no. The only time I spent with you was when you were in the ICU and I slept on the floor. I am currently standing in front of you for the first time in what I believe is about 3 weeks. I
Okay.
wanted nothing more than to see you. And I didn't know
Uh,
how to respond when you answered the phone.
you sure? Cause I mean, I texted you a week ago.
Mhm. If you saw my text, I specifically wanted to talk to you. And I'm sorry that it took a week to respond, but I
You
had
said
full
I
plans on.
intended on calling you. You just said I had full plans on calling you.
Mhm.
Nothing about actually doing it.
I haven't seen you.
I've called you a lot of times and I haven't seen you.
I'm sorry.
I'm not mad or anything. It feels like something. Are you upset with us or me, or is something going on that you're not telling us?
Are you asking in reference to why I didn't text you back?
Anything. I don't. Anything.
I retired. I wanted to spend time with my family. I almost died for the police department, hence my really great scar on my neck. And I asked myself, I said, if I had a second chance at life, what would I change? My job was the first thing. I about died for a conflict that I know nothing about. And I begged 6 people with guns to allow me to call and say my goodbye to my family because I expected to die. And instead, they fed me to a mountain lion and told me that the best version of me was when I was a park ranger. My job was not something I was going to stay for.
Yeah, I understand that.
More specifically, you remember Officer Aziz?
Yeah, he was murdered.
Remember James Rooker?
Murdered.
Did you attend their funerals?
No,
Nobody did.
I didn't even know when they were. I didn't
They
remember
never
seeing it
happened.
in that. What?
If I died, if history repeated itself, in 2 weeks, my name would have been forgotten about, and the city that I fought for would have continued moving. Just like we did with Aziz, and just like we did with Rooker. And respectfully, I did not feel that it is in my best interest to explain to my high command that we should be giving an hour out of our day to contribute the thanks to the service of the ones that fall. To have both of them just get forgotten about. People that I worked beside broke my heart. And I was going to be another statistic. Maybe a photo on the board for a few weeks. We're so busy stopping people stealing quarters from dryers and washers. But we can't take 60 minutes out of our day to say goodbye to the ones that we work beside. And maybe on the more sinister note, and I'm not saying this as a dig, but Matt, and I mean this genuinely out of the fullest amount of respect, um, used an analogy a few months ago about a cog in a wheel. And I have never in my career as an LEO felt more replaceable. And I'd be lying if I didn't say that that was one of the biggest reasons for why I decided to step away. I didn't feel this current structure was worth dying for.
Okay. Again, I think me and Matt aren't going to question you on that. We want you to be safe and alive, and if this is the choice you want to make, then so be it. But I want to know whether or not you're okay with me and with us, and so you okay? What's this guy?
I don't know. His dog is cute.
Very cute dog. So we're having a private conversation. There's two other benches set. Two other benches set.
Is Max's legislation about locals still in place?
No, they're people again. Should let's move. We'll move benches. So
Here you go.
thank you.
This one's all yours, bud.
Yeah, we was really like this bench out.
To answer your question though, I'm okay, and I'm safe.
And you're okay with us?
I am. Um, I do have a question.
Right.
We've had some problems recently, obviously with the family hiccups and concerns. Uh, Matt, I know with, I guess, whatever happened with Etta, it was with good intention, based
Mm-hmm.
on things you had going on, and I don't want to conflict you. Um, is there anything regarding the family that is of concern in this moment that isn't already on the table?
Um, I mean, for me, the whole the, the whole Rue stuff that happened, I find that to be very problematic.
I'd do it again.
I don't agree
I
with
don't
it.
regret what I did one bit.
I won't lie, respectfully. Uh, Judas, based on the very, very little bit that I know, if you need me to stop talking, you can tell me.
I don't. I don't want to hear anything about it.
Okay.
I don't like that immediately upon whatever happened, Rue wanted to speak to me because there's no good that's going to come of a conversation regarding anything she could have said at that time.
I don't disagree. And like I said, I don't agree with what happened. It was problematic. And I tried not to ask too many questions because I wasn't there for the conversation that I guess the family had. And I wasn't there, obviously, for whatever happened. Um, as long as there is, I'm going to call it the understanding that even though I severely disagree with what happened, that Rue is still my daughter. I do not want to be judged for still caring for my daughter.
Okay, let me ask you this.
The tax credit alone pays for the first 3 months of diapers.
Let's say tomorrow I'm on duty,
And I've narrowed the
something
list down
happens,
to 2 guys.
and Ruins it being
Just
responsible
for
for
me and
shooting
more
me.
baby socks, please, Mom. Bye.
Then what?
Yeah, that's something that's going to bother me. That's a horrible what if, and it is a strong
Mm-hmm.
possibility.
Mm-hmm. And at that point, I'm still expected to just respect that.
No.
Could be me too. I'm right across the street at this point.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
I said it could be me. ADMC are already starting problems with the marshal. So, could be either of us.
I know. I heard from one of them that apparently someone had yelled at you yesterday.
I really tried.
I know.
I don't want... Like, I don't want anything to happen with that group. Because... I can't get into details, son, but... yeah, Angel's not the director, sorry. She's not messing around.
If the rumors are true about the marshals and the kind of equipment that you guys are being provided, I'm not making any form of defense whatsoever. But even I have concerns about a State Department having access to tanks. Marshals don't have a perfect image because they're sort of an unknown entity to a lot of people. They're still unknown to me.
That's fair.
So that
Also
is not a...
getting a bit
Sorry,
off
go ahead.
topic.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I'm not speaking for anybody, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend to have a defense. But from what I've heard, I'm not personally surprised if people are have an initial negative response.
Bro, call... sorry. Bro called me yesterday. She, for some reason, is already questioning why I'm a marshal. I gave her my answer, and she still questioned why.
Let me ask what
And
you're... Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'll be honest. I was short with her. And I'm gonna be short with her, given how we left things off. I'm just, I'm, I'm distancing myself because it's very clear that I'm the one who, at least for the majority of this family, has got the differing ideals. So, and proving my point, really, calling me up and questioning why I'm a cop again, without even knowing the legislation. or even reading it.
Um, she told me that you guys spoke. She didn't go into context. I I do want to bring this to kind of a forefront. So, first off, you don't owe her. You don't owe her any answer. You're not required to. Um, Rue was also in Sanguine. That thing I said about people who have assumptions, respectfully, me being one of them. When you hear State Department and tanks, and you're talking to somebody who dealt with a State Department and tanks, I think it's fair to say that she won't have an initial positive reaction to it.
To be clear, though, Richard mentioned she asked why he's a cop. Am I right in saying that?
I can't remember the exact specifics. No, I think she knew I was a marshal. She did know I was. She was asking. I think she said I heard you were a state marshal. So she was
And
just
the
asking
only
why. She just wanted to know why I was doing it. I said because it's the right thing. And she was like, "Yeah, but why?" And you know, basically she was
um
saying, "But you guys have tanks, and you know, it goes against Stadium C in the club, and yeah,
and try to hold police accountable when
right."
they screw up, not if, but when they screw up.
That's exactly what
But
I
that
said.
seems to get glossed over.
I'll be honest. I'm being honest here. I called her out for having a selfish attitude because all she looked at and all I spoke to. I don't know whether I said the same thing when I spoke to Tally too. I know I think this was just rule, but this is the issue people have: is all they see is how it affects them and not how it affects the whole. Because like the investigation side of things into criminal organizations, yeah, that's going to happen, but I think that primarily it's, you know, at least for me, and I think for the most part, that most of our work so far has been into the police department, and I think that's what it's mostly going to be. That all the people are going to see is how it's going to affect them and their gang or their group.
I don't I don't disagree. Um, but I do think the again, the point of concern, 'cause she brought up tanks, correct?
Yeah,
I haven't spoken with her about she really feels about things. Um, she still deals with trauma, bad bad trauma from Sanguine. And it truly sounds like she's somewhat gun shy to the thought of that being next to where she is. I don't think that it's specifically the gang concern. I feel like if her concern was what you have access to, then yeah, I mean, my initial concern is why would you need tanks? Me personally, an LEO who didn't go to Sanguine for my own reasons.
I think that the simplest answer I can give is June 3rd.
Do third?
June 3rd. What happened?
I don't know.
50 civilians armed with firearms stormed City Hall. But they didn't find what they were looking for. They went to Mission Row, broke their way in, and nearly killed 10 to 12 police officers and robbed all of their equipment. That's what the APCs are for. Moments like that.
I don't mean to cut this short, but I do have to get going.
Mhm.
And I'm just gonna. I feel it appropriate to mention this regarding Rue. Um, I can respect that you've chosen Rue, um, as your daughter. No issue with that. None. However, um, I don't see myself having any kind of relationship with Rue, nor do I wish to speak to her, um,
Completely
given what's
fair.
happened.
I wouldn't expect you to.
Um, I'll just leave it at that because, unfortunately, um, uh, I don't see myself in. I don't see our mindsets ever being in line. Um, yeah. Pop, I love
Mhm.
you.
I
Okay.
love you too.
And if you need something, please let us know.
I will. You got my word on that. Just know whatever, you know, ends here or whatever is to the future to come up. Uh, I will always love and care about you guys. And I mean that.
All right. Well, I'm gonna get going. Um, I'll leave you two to it.
All right.
Okay.
Take it easy, honey. So, what's your plans now? Hey, you're a free man.
Yeah. You want me to be blunt with you?
Yeah, always.
I want to make sure that you are good. I want to be there for you. I'm currently working on getting to know that Mosley guy so he can teach me the ropes on being a mechanic. Because I recently got a job at Milton's. Um, and I have intentions on trying to do the things that make me happy. Because since 2021, when I got the job as an officer, I put the things that I did enjoy wherever were really things that I guess I cared about aside so that I could focus on protecting everybody and doing the job. And I couldn't tell you the last time I ever took a step back to try and find myself again. Only been 24 hours, so not going to sugarcoat it, but kind of hard to find my niche knowing that I am just starting to make fresh connections again.
What are you saying?
What do you mean?
What what did you leave behind? Sorry, maybe I misunderstand it. When you became an officer, what did you have to leave behind? Like you mean like tow trucking?
No, I mean, I was a tow truck driver.
Yeah.
I don't have intention on going back to it, but how much do you know about who I was before I joined the PD? Because I don't remember what I told you.
That was a long time ago, son. I don't
I know.
know. I mean, I don't imagine you know much, unless somebody's told you.
I mean, there's really it's hard to say because I lost my memories, and I don't know necessarily when we started to get to know each other. Um, but I was a mechanic up at Harmony, and I always had a passion for cars, and I always had a passion for things that I loved. And I won't lie, I've always been a little bit of an adrenaline junkie, but that's as far as I ever went. When you become an officer on this island, Ed, anybody that knows you feels like they can. Uh, Not for anything that you did personally or I did personally, but PD has a stigma because people don't understand it. I got a job at Milton's so I can meet people, have conversations,
That's nice.
relearn about just what people do. And I'll tell you, my first day, I this city's changed a lot in 5 years. It's so much more different than what I remember.
Well, that's a good job.
It is. It's honest work. So,
Feel like there's a buck coming.
not really.
What you you were talking about being an adrenaline junkie, and then you started working at a mechanic shop. That doesn't really sound like there's a lot of adrenaline going on.
I didn't mean to gloss over it. Um, many, many years ago, I used to street race.
Word. Just no good high
It was the first time I ever did something that
Hold on, I can't hear you.
made me feel
The traffic in the city is so
some kind of way. And it didn't hurt anybody. It was more the risk that I took and the love that I had for that. And it was one of the few times uh, it made me happy. Because it didn't hurt anybody.
You're not planning on
well, so
doing that, are you?
Del
Or-
Perro somewhere. No traffic. So cliche.
I'd be blatantly lying to you if I didn't say I've thought about it.
Later, babe.
I absolutely have thought about it. I almost caught a bullet to the head. And I was blessed with a second chance at life. And I told myself that I wanted to do the things that made me happy. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, and I'm not going to lie to you. Because if I did, and one day I ever found myself in a predicament where you saw me, then you'd know and call me a liar. Right now, I want to be a mechanic. Right now, I want to learn how to do the job. And right now, that is what I'm doing.
Remind me again, how did Archie die? You were there that night.
I'd be lying if I didn't say I don't actually recall. That was a very hard day on duty for me.
Okay. Justin DeMarco. Remember that one? Same night?
When I got on duty, I got a call from Maeve, and DeMarco had already been deceased. When I got there, I was informed about Archie. He was after DeMarco. I don't know what happened with DeMarco. When he was killed, I had gotten on duty about an hour after that all happened.
Without going into any details, both of them were hit by speeding vehicles. And they died. So to say that street racing can't hurt anybody is, well, that's false. I'm not saying that they died in a street race, but you heard about Forte?
Did I forget about Forte?
I said, did you hear about Forte?
Yeah, 3 times accomplice attempted murder.
Mm-hmm.
Forte was always a fucking nut.
What do you think about him now?
I think I'm not shocked that he went and did exactly what that man was always capable of.
What do you think the police think about him?
I don't think he cares.
No, what do you think the police think about Forte?
He's a cog in a wheel that got replaced. The police probably don't like him.
What do you think the police think about Suarez?
Not a clue.
What do you think about Suarez?
I think I haven't seen him in 7 years.
You think about doing criminal activity while you're a cop?
Every single chase was exciting. But no, I did not.
You know your brother was killed by a cop, right?
Come over anytime after 7. This homebrew will kick your little ass. I promise.
I know he was killed.
He was shot in the back of the head by Brian Knight. You start going down this road, you're putting yourself in that same position.
I'm sorry, I've been loca so busy.
Because there's always
Like
going to be
getting-
cops like Brian Knight. Trigger happy cops.
Listen, why don't we go shopping at Deals and Dollars?
Like Brian Knight. Kyle Pred.
Don't you work with Pred?
You're fired.
But did you take the job knowing he worked there?
Yeah, I did. That was part of the reason, actually. I didn't trust anybody else to keep an eye on him. Between you and me, you know what my first case was? Investigating Kyle Bread. Now put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Can you remind me how me doing something that I haven't even done yet, and the results of this conversation is that I'm going to get shot in the back of the head for it after 3 weeks ago? I had a gun held back of my fucking head, and I had to call and say goodbye to my family. For you to say that to me,
Because Sean,
no. Nope. I want you to think about what you just said to me.
I have and I will. And I'm not going to feel guilty about it. Because I don't want you turning into another TJ Walker. Just look where he's ended up. So if you hate me for this, so be it. But at least you'll be alive.
No. You know the difference? You know the difference between TJ and the comparison that you just made?
What's that?
The man sitting as a city council member was shot, and over 50 people drove to commemorate that man. Can you say the same for Aziz? Can you say the same for Rooker? Look where that ended up. I will always fucking love you. And that will never change. The comparison of being shot in the back of the head is the last thing I need right now.
Some pills are hard to swallow. But if you're thinking about doing crime already, I'm worried.
No, it was classic, man. A Woody.
Then be worried.